One of the big issues that we're dealing with right now in Canada is actually the terrible humanitarian crisis that's ongoing in Venezuela. Over the past few weeks, I've been making calls to a significant number of global leaders to talk about the situation in Venezuela, because Canada has actually been involved as one of the lead members of the Lima Group, which is a group of mostly South American nations and Canada who've come together to try and push for peace, democracy, stability in Venezuela, which is an ongoing humanitarian catastrophe right now. And the most recent iteration of that is that the president of Venezuela, Maduro, who expired, yeah, no, that's a good point, who was president up until the election that happened a few weeks ago, following an election that was not a free and fair election at all, announced that he continued to be president. Now, the international community recognized that those were not free and fair elections, and therefore Venezuela actually doesn't have a president right now, because Maduro is not the president of Venezuela in the eyes of the world and also in the eyes of Venezuelans. Therefore, the Venezuelan Constitution has within it Article 233, which actually provides for what happens when there is no president in Venezuela. Well, what happens is the president of the National Assembly, the Speaker of the National Assembly, is obliged by the Constitution to step up as interim president and immediately call elections so that there can be free and fair elections to allow for a legitimate president. Now, Maduro doesn't like that, and he is very much trying to push back. He has announced that, no, the next elections will be at the end of his 6-year term in 2025. Well, the ongoing humanitarian catastrophe in the region means they need to have elections right away, free and fair elections immediately. And the European Union and the Lima Group, with Canada as a significant part of it, the European Union gave Maduro until this weekend to call new elections free and fair. He has refused to do that. So Canada is hosting the Lima Group on Monday, which is countries like Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Colombia, to come to Ottawa and discuss what the next steps are, how we are going to move forward so that there are free and fair elections. We are moving forward on recognizing Juan Guaido, who is the president of the National Assembly, as the interim president, so we can move towards free and fair elections. Now, this all seems very complex and complicated, and it is. But it is all grounded in human rights, the rule of law, and Venezuela's own constitution. This is not about Canada deciding, oh, we don't like the way Maduro is governing, therefore we're going to support an opposition leader to become president. That's not what this is. This is about us saying the Venezuelans' own constitution calls for a situation in which, because there is no legitimate president, they need to call elections, and it is the president of the National Assembly who needs to step up and call those elections. Now, I maybe make it sound a little easy that on Monday we're going to figure this out. It is still going to require a difficult process, because Maduro not only sits as president right now illegitimately, but he controls the top members of the military and the judiciary right now in Venezuela. So it's a complicated situation, but it is one in which Canada has been leading the way along with other top South American nations over the past 18 months to 2 years, and where we are going to continue to fight for peace, democracy, and stability in a country that was once the most successful and prosperous country in South America and is now a terrible humanitarian crisis.